on WCYB. This is News 5 at noon.
A StormTrack 5 weather alert day as we come on the air here at noon, looking live at Boone Lake and in particular the water level. That is a story that we're going to be following as we go throughout the today and into the weekend across our region, and the massive amount of rain that has fallen with the storm overnight into this morning, and what we're now leading into what is going to be flooding across our area in many locations, and we already have that in many spots as well. We have team coverage this afternoon as we continue to track this StormTrack 5 weather alert day, and strong winds and rain causing problems across much of our region. Meteorologist David Boyd is in our studio. He's tracking the latest conditions. Teresa Carter also in the studio this afternoon looking at the pictures you've been sharing with us coming in from viewers across the area. Meteorologist Kit Alexander also out on the road with us this afternoon. He's in Abingdon, Virginia. We'll hear from him on how Washington County, Virginia is now under a local state of emergency, and then evacuations in Roan Mountain. Our Liam Bridgman is there at a shelter in Cloudland High School there. But right now we're going to go over to David in the StormTrack 5 Weather Center. David, we've been watching this go through today, and the wind and the rain continuing to play out this afternoon.
And thankfully, the heaviest of the rains are beginning to taper off over the Tri-Cities, but we have a lot of runoff coming off the mountains and into the valleys. Very concerned about several rivers coming into the valleys of East Tennessee. There's the big picture. Numerous flash flood emergencies stretching from Atlanta to Asheville and also into our area. All the outlined areas in pink are the top level of flash flood warnings, the flash flood emergencies. And a closer look at the radar. We're still seeing some downpours from Bristol northward to Lebanon and Grundy, but some drier air filtering in further to the south, and only some light rain near Irwin, and further to the north some heavier rain in Lebanon and Marion, but that will be tapering off here in a little while. These are all of the flood warnings. River flood warning around Greenville, flash flood warning for most areas in the brighter green. Then we filter out to just the flash flood emergencies. That's the top level, the most urgent situation. The latest flash flood emergency is for southern Carter County and Unicoi County, where emergency management reporting roads are washed out. Water rescues continue in the town of Unicoi, Roan Village. We've also been concerned about Embryville as well because of the rising waters there along the rivers. We've seen more than 5 inches of rain in the Tri-Cities over the past 48 hours. And in Avery County, they've seen more than 10 inches of rain. The high wind warning continues until 8 p.m. for most of the region, but the winds will be settling down a little bit later in the afternoon, but still gusting 45 miles an hour Tri-Cities, a gust of 50 miles an hour recently in the Tri-Cities, or in Roan Mountain, I should say. Had a recent gust near 50 miles an hour, Elizabethton, and also in Abingdon, 53 miles an hour in Jefferson, with the ground so saturated that's been knocking down many trees and power lines. The wind gust forecast does show the winds relaxing later in the afternoon, more so into the evening. There is a tornado watch in place to our east. Looks like the tornado threat will stay to our east, and the heavy rain is gradually moving out. Here's the future radar showing just a few spotty showers by 3 p.m. and mainly dry by 8 o'clock. Sunshine actually coming out as the winds relax, but again, keeping an eye on all the runoff, the rivers, and the lakes going up.
There are numerous road closures all across our region. Too many to name all of them, but a couple of big ones to talk about. And most notably is Interstate 26 is closed this afternoon. According to the Tennessee Department of Transportation, I-26 eastbound in Unicoi County closed at mile marker 37. I-26 westbound, that's headed into Tennessee, closed in Unicoi County there at mile marker 43. This is all because of flooding and the Nolichucky River that is nearby. We'll look at some other impacts of that coming up later in this hour. Teresa Carter is in our studio with us live this afternoon looking at the pictures and the videos. Teresa, some incredible images coming in from our viewers just helping us tell this story. Very dramatic scenes, down trees and raging water in so many places today.
Exactly. We have gotten some great photos and videos, but before that, I want to get to excuse me, one of the latest storm reports in Jonesville. A 3-foot diameter tree was knocked down. unbelievable 3-foot diameter. And take a look at some of these photos that we're getting in. This is from Bristol, Tennessee, Upland Way, a tree branch that fell close to a car and a house. Thank you, Brian, for submitting that. And Tina sent this in from Hansonville of some awnings that on a gas station that just got ripped to shreds as well. And viewer video from Nola-Chucky Dam from April. You can really see how that water is really rushing, and it's continuing to rise up at the banks as well. Here's some other video. This is from Chilhowie from Lacey. This is actually runoff from White Top Mountain into the yard area and roadways. You can just see how fast and running it is. So it's continuing to rise, and we're seeing a lot of video and pictures from this. We'd love to get your photos and videos at Be Safe, though. Log on to WCYB.com, click on Chime In, upload them, and you could see them right here during the weather.
Tracy, you were talking about a tree down. We just heard that Marion's famed crying tree has come down in this storm today. Just found out that this afternoon, and we'll get a picture of that for you. Now let's turn to meteorologist Kit Alexander. He's in Abingdon, Virginia. Washington County there has declared a local state of emergency with the weather passing through there, and down trees and power lines an issue as well. Kit, what have you learned about the situation in Washington County and Abingdon today?
Yeah, Preston, like you have mentioned, we have a local emergency for Washington County, Virginia. And if you look behind me, I mean, we got some flooded roadways over here. So we're on Main Street. The part like you're heading in back towards Damascus, you're heading that general direction. That's where the water has pretty much covered the runway. We did talk to some emergency personnel here a little bit ago. They do hope shortly if the rain will kind of let up, as it is a little bit, they're going to try to get this road at least back open. But there are many roads like this that are currently having issues. There's either trees that's partially covering the roadways or completely covering the roadways due to weather-related incidents. Right now, we've been talking about some strong gusty winds at times, not so bad at least at the moment, but just a few minutes ago, it's taken these signs and literally twisted them sideways here. So it has been strong at times. I would be estimating possibly around 50 miles per hour as far as the wind gusts here in Abingdon. The rain, at least thankfully, has kind of let up at the moment, so that gives us a little bit of help, and that will certainly help emergency personnel as they go to try to clean up this mess. We've seen several road issues along the way with a lot of debris and, of course, some downed branches and downed trees. Too many trees to even begin to count along the way here. The interstate, however, heading northbound along 81, they've done a pretty decent job. It's not really got much in the way of debris or trees there, so at least some good news. But a lot of these side streets obviously have had some issues. Reporting in Abingdon, Virginia, though, right now, I'm meteorologist Kit Alexander. We'll send it back to y'all guys in the studio.
A very serious situation underway right now in North Carolina. Heavy floodwaters causing what has been described to me as catastrophic damage for our friends just across the mountain. We'll take a look at the problems there in just a moment.